Okay, so tonight, oh, hang on, I wasn't ready. I have like my notes on one screen. Okay, tonight we are going to be talking about our core, figuring out our core values or core beliefs. I don't know, I guess you could call them either one. We did this exercise last year, I think, at some point in a different team call that I was listening to. And it really paved the way for how I posted, how I spoke, how I kind of find my voice and found what my message was for last year. I'm actually going to do it again tonight to see if I feel like it's changed. Um, but anyways, so that's kind of what we're talking about, because I know like Tina and Brianna were here last time, and or it's been like a couple weeks now, and we were talking about posting and like figuring out who our audience is and figuring out like who we are, who we want to talk to, and kind of like speaking in our own voice and stuff. So this time I was going to talk about like more about finding that, and this will kind of help with all of that. This isn't exactly what I was thinking at first, but once I decided this, I got really excited. So I hope that it helps you kind of like narrow your focus as much as it helped me last year. And this paper, it's like really hard to read, but I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, sorry you guys. I have this like too small and then I can't click the buttons. There we go. Now this is super messy. Here's my screen. Okay. So I don't know if this is, I don't think this is the list that we used last time. There's actually gonna be words on there. Like there's actually, one of my words last year was belief. And I'll explain all of that in a little bit, but it's not even on here. So if, as you're reading this, as we do the exercise in a few minutes, if you think of others that you really don't see that you feel like are very strongly a part of who you are, it's okay to add it. It's obviously not. I looked at so many lists to try to find like the best one, but they're pretty much all the same. So, okay, I did want to take a minute to read this. And I know I don't always just read stuff to you, but I thought this was so perfect for, here are some reasons why it matters, that we can actually name these core values that we feel. Because honestly, when we did this assignment last year, I was like, what are values? Like, what are core values? Like, you know, we kind of know them. It's like kind of a part of you, but you don't have them narrowed down and named. So I'm just going to read these. I'm using and modeling them, whether I know it or not. Every decision, word, and action communicates my core values. They engender trust. We build trust when we are honest and full of integrity. That means there is alignment between what we believe, say, and do consistently. Without trust, we are doomed, which is so true in our business too, because people don't enroll with you if they don't trust you. Like, it's all about building relationships. So they move our important work forward. What we celebrate, measure, and confront communicates what we value, and that's what gets done. And I can attest to that last year. Like, it really helped me focus on, I keep saying the same words, but they are why I do what I do. They are what drives me. They're my moral imperative. Without them, I'm not actually leading at all. Leadership involves articulating values and developing a vision for the future. They inspire me to overcome obstacles. When we have a big enough why, we will always figure out the how. They bring unity. When we have consensus around core values, we can endure all kinds of disagreement about strategy without falling apart as a team. They keep me from micromanaging. With an agreed upon destination, there's room for empowerment, creativity, and innovation in the journey, because we're all going to have different words. Some of them might overlap, but we're all going to have at least a little bit of a different path and focus. So they make expectations clear. They define the parameters. I hire for them. We can teach the other stuff. They give me courage. They compel me to take action even when it's hard. And they show me where to draw a line in the sand. Okay, that's probably good. You get the point. It's really important. So we are actually going to take a minute. I know this is so small and blurry. So can you see it at least a little bit? And if you can't, and if you're on a computer, you could also pull up on your phone, go to Team Radiance, and I posted it yesterday, and maybe that's a little bit better. But I'm actually gonna, what we're gonna do is there will be 3 parts to this. Has anyone ever done this before? Maybe I should ask that first. Okay, good. So I'm just gonna set a timer. I don't really know how long to give us on this, and I don't wanna just like totally suck up our whole half hour. However, this is pretty much the basis of it because I really want you to figure out these words. So the first thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna go down this line. If you have the paper in hand, you can just put a star or a check mark by the words that you feel like are a big part of you, or that, you know, like that resonate, you like, whatever. And then, or that you value, obviously. And so maybe this first part will take longer, like we'll try 5 minutes, but if you're not even close to being through the list, then we'll give it like a minute or 2 more. So there's no number on this, just mark as many. I don't think, is there instructions? Oh, about 20 it says. Okay, so narrow it down to your top 20 words out of that. And it's gonna be hard. I remember like really struggling with this. And then if you don't have the paper, you know, obviously just write down those words, which will take you a minute longer. So I'm just gonna, it's gonna be awkward and quiet, but I'm gonna set a timer for 5 minutes and go ahead and start doing that. Maybe I'll mute myself so it's not. All right. If the timer hasn't gone, oh, it's about to. If you're done, give me a thumbs up. And if you need more time, thumbs down. Okay. That's okay. I like rushed, but I've done this before, so I'll set it for another 2 minutes and then we'll see where everyone's at. Okay, thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Awesome. Okay, so the next part is obviously we're gonna have a little bit less. Oh, I didn't even count mine. Oh well. So this time you'll be looking at the list that you made, and we're gonna narrow it down to 10 after that. So we're gonna do this down to 10 and then down to 3 to 5 at the end, okay? So maybe for our 10, let's try to do 3 minutes just because it's kind of time's going fast. And again, just narrow that. You can write it to the side, put a star by it, circle it, whatever. All right, how was that? I was like, I forgot it was 10. I thought it was already 5. I'm like, oh, I can't do it. Okay, so now let's take 2 minutes and narrow that 10. Honestly, it's better if you can get it down to 3, because then it's just going to be, so if there's a couple words that are kind of similar, just pick one that stands out more, because that's going to be just more focus that you can do. Okay, I'm going to set up the timer, 2 minutes. If you're done early, give me a thumbs up so I know. Oh, yay. Okay. I got it done too. Okay. I'm not going to lie, you guys. I thought my words would be the same. So last year, my words were belief, energy, and joy. And some of you have kind of heard my story. I know Randy hasn't, but those words carried me like, I mean, every year is hard in some way and we're dealing with stuff. And last year I had a ton of, well, I'm still dealing with it truthfully, but like internal health problems, endometriosis and stuff. But last year is kind of when it all flared up and I was like, oh, I think I have this. But those words, well, for one, belief, because I'm like constantly struggling with believing in myself. And I learned last year to apply that, and you seriously can go so much farther just believing in yourself. So that was like huge for me. And then the energy one was not just like a physical energy, it was something I had to learn to pull out like from my soul on all those days when I didn't feel good. It was kind of like this mental energy. What was the other one? Oh, and then joy, because I was like depressed and I didn't feel good, and just kind of finding that joy in my everyday. So, and I still think of that, and that's how I put it on my bio, you know, and that's how I started posting, and that was my message last year. So anyway, this year I was like, I thought it would be kind of similar. Belief isn't on that one. I think energy and joy are. But it was funny, like this year didn't stand out as much, but I think because our goals are changing, and I mean, you know, like maybe I learned that lesson, probably have to deal with it again. But anyways, if you guys don't mind, I would love to hear everybody's if you want to share. Like it can just be really short, like that's your words. But mine was radiance, wholeness, and freedom this time. And like if you say those, it should just make you like smile, like, yeah, that's it. So if you want to share, you can just unmute yourself, it looks like. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I can't hear you. No, sorry. You want to type it in the chat? I don't know if I can see the chat while we're sharing. Oh, now you're muted. You weren't before. No. Oh, well, just type it in the chat. I hate to rush you, but I am running out of time because I don't pay for Zoom. We get 40 minutes. Did you want to share, Randy, while he's typing? I'd love to hear him. So just unmute. I don't think I'm able to. Amusement, courage, family, and trust. Oh, I love that. I like the amusement one too. That's fun. I wish I was more funny. That's awesome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My 3 were inspiration, respect, and confidence.
Oh, cool. And doesn't that make you just like, once you got those words, you were just like, yeah,
Yes.
that's awesome. And say it again, inspiration, respect.
Respect and confidence. Confidence wasn't on the list, but it's one that has been like my personal goal
Yeah,
the last couple of years. So
I feel like that's one that should be on the list. I also noticed consistency wasn't on the list. I would have put that one on there too.
yeah.
Anyone else? Tina, do you want to share? You don't have to if you don't want to. Okay. Okay, so just to kind of wrap this up, let me make sure. I would make that without it being like, these are my core values. Find a way to incorporate that in your bio. And I've learned this not just from the call last year. So, but you want it to be so clear what you're doing, what your mission is. Obviously, we're all kind of in this like health and fitness thing, but what else, you know? And that was something that, well, I still have to remind myself, but we can have this other message, this part of us, you know, who we are, because we will attract other people that either need that or who believe that too and are like, yes, you know, like that's amazing. So rewrite your bio if you need to in Instagram or on your profile. I think my Facebook is different than my Instagram. I don't know. They're just different. But this will also help you focus and kind of dial in on what you're posting. Of course, not every day, but especially on those days when like you really need something deeper or more heartfelt, or you forget like, what should I post today? Like that's what I did today. So post to the kids. but that kind of helps us to focus in on like, oh yeah, this is what we're doing this year. This is my why. This is what I believe, what I stand for. Excuse me. Yeah, I guess I pretty much said that. So it's pretty simple, but it's just so good to hear those words, and like it's exciting to see how that will carry us through the year, like both helping us and then even maybe some lessons that we can learn for ourselves. So thank you for taking the time to do that. It was kind of a weird call. Like it's not always like this. It's Randy's first call. She's like having to do homework. But yeah, hopefully it was just helpful. I'm just going to stop the recording.